This is part 4 of the winner's mentality. We're going to be talking about the isolated mind. Now, with this being said, before we get engaged into this, I need y'all to understand that this isn't necessarily about, being in an isolated area. Blocking yourself away from the world is literally means being able to really be alone and have a real independent thought. Now, I understand a lot of y'all believe that it's about understanding, codes and understanding, what to do and seeing what to do and things like that. But it's about seeing what to do and understanding that it's your independent thoughts and actions that determines the way you do it. Not the way it looks, not the way it sounds, not the way things come off to, how things are going to be perceived in other people's eyes or the ideas of other people. It is literally just thinking for yourself and moving forward. This is why I always tell you guys, a lot of this shit has a lot to do with understanding the process. The process is different for everybody. It is not the same for everybody. So what I want y'all to understand is blocking out the noise, which is number 1, is very key, because you have to stop thinking about distractions. You literally have to innate yourself to not think about distractions and think about what you want in order to proceed in what you want. Now, what does that look like? Let's say I'm thinking about, only getting fine as women. But I'm used to getting women that are mid, and every once in a while I get a fine woman, but I'm getting to the point now where I want to get a lot of fine women. Now, in this thinking process, I'm going to be thinking about a lot of things, right? I'm going to be thinking about, how a woman might look on my arm, how I might look when a woman, they see me doing these things. That is not the way that you think. That's a wrong way of thinking. The right way of thinking is saying to yourself, I see this woman, I think she looks good, I like her ass, I like her titties, I like her face, I like what I see. Now, what am I going to do next? Do I want to make her friends with benefits? What's the process of that? Do I want to make her a relationship? See, she's relationship worthy. What's the process of that? Do I want to vet her? Things of this, the things that you have to do and what you have to see in her. These are things that you are thinking about in real time. This is what I mean when I say blocking out the noise. Perception is noise. Image is noise. Other people's opinions that's noise. Everything that you choose to think about must work towards your result in a way of always having yourself and your mindset and your moves and your thoughts, your perception has to play a part in your thought. If it isn't, your mind, you are not blocking out the noise, you are listening to the noise. Now, for example, there's a difference between learning something and just hearing it and letting everything seep into your mind. You can listen to something and understand it and not let it seep into your mind to the point where you see the difference in somebody else's perspective versus your perspective. When you see somebody else's thought process versus your thought process, you can be able to tell the difference because you never lose, your mind. You never lose your ideas. You never lose your perceptions. You never lose who you are. A lot of people lose qualities of who they are because they're so focused on the noise. This is what I want y'all to understand. In order for you to learn something, yes, you have to listen and you have to pay attention to things. But it's only for the sake of getting a result that you want. For example, whenever y'all listen to this, y'all want to understand what it takes to have a winner's mentality. to stay focused, to be able to grind consistently and consistently overcome obstacles and become a better version of yourself while accomplishing the goals that you set in front of yourself. This is a way of thinking, yes. This is a way of being. But on the flip side of that, right? What you have to realize is you are choosing to think differently, perceive things differently, and feel differently about things, and have different beliefs, have different ideas for the sake of getting the result you want, while understanding why all of these ideas, beliefs, things that these beliefs, ideas, these perceptions that you have of the world have to change in order for you to get what you want. And why in the process of that, knowing this new information is only half the battle, because you have habits, you have beliefs, you have ideas, you have perspectives that take time to change. It is a process. You can't be in the middle of the process and at the same time listen to noise, because it will distract you from the ideas that you have to focus on to get what you want. This is blocking out the noise. So you have to be able to hold on to who you are while going through this storm of, the process of evolving yourself to become something new. But in order to do this, you have to be able to isolate your mind in real time, not just when sitting alone. A lot of weak-minded. I said I was gonna stop calling these guys weak. I said I was gonna stop calling people weak-minded. A lot of these guys, they want the easy route. They want the path of least resistance. So they choose to isolate themselves from the fucking world. But isolating your mind is not isolating yourself from the world. Isolating your mind is being able to protect and defend and play offense with the tools that are inside of your mind, versus running away from things because you don't want to have to protect and defend and fight for your mind. This is what you got to realize. And doing it in real time is not rejecting things all the time. It's not necessarily rejecting the things before they have the opportunity of presenting themselves, but understanding it and being able to say, that's not the route I'm going to go. I'm going to still choose the route that I believe in and the ideas that I believe in. It's a choice. But y'all have to connect what I said previously. And you have to always, and I mean, this has to be a continuous thing, which is understanding why you are doing these things, why you are defending, why you are protecting, why are you attacking, why behind the why behind the why behind the why. As far as you can go before you plateau and you can't find no other why, that's where you need to continuously find yourself going. That's the direction of finding out the bottom line of what you are and the motivation that you need to have intact so you can continuously go for what you want. You see, a lot of people, man, they don't know what they want, so they choose to blame the world and they choose to hide, not you. You're a winner. Winners don't run away. Winners understand, I'm going through this storm and I'm going to see it through to the end. So that's number one. Number two is holding secrets. You have to realize, man, a lot of people, they don't understand what it really means to win. They don't understand the ideas that they need to have. They don't understand the process. They don't understand sometimes the very unorthodox ideas that you have to follow, the things that you have to do, because they want things to stay normal like they are. So you have to learn to, one, hold on to the way of thinking for yourself. Yes, you can throw something out there for somebody to see what they do with it And if they are worthy of it, then you continue. But a lot of people, they have a certain way of thinking, and you telling them that, and you telling them that new way of thinking, it doesn't help them because they don't want what you're trying to give to them. They don't want it. So sometimes, and they don't want the result. Sometimes people, they might tell you, I want a woman. And you tell them things for the sake of wanting a woman. They might be simping. You might be telling them all that. They don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear that they simping. They don't want to hear that they're serving a woman that doesn't give a fuck about them. They don't want to hear that. They want to hear things for the sake of them feeling good. That's what they want. And because they want that over actually, living a life where they have a woman that actually loves them for who they are, that it's easy for them to be there. They want to be lied to. These are people that want to be lied to. So sometimes you can understand somebody's desires just by seeing how they respond to a piece of your truth, a piece of it. Don't give it all to them, a fraction of it, and then hold the rest to yourself to see how they react. You can see if they react positive or negative. You can see if they already know what you're talking about. You can see if they don't know what you're talking about. And this is what I mean. You have to be strategic at holding on to your ways of thinking, because it is not actually right to try to change everybody else's ways of thinking, especially if it doesn't benefit you. If it doesn't benefit you, there's really no point. So hold on to your secret. Don't tell people about your dreams. You can, people, you have the choice, but you got to realize that sometimes people are going to try to interact with you to demean and degrade your dreams, and they're not on the same path, nor have they ever walked the path of your dreams. So is what I mean. A lot of things, don't talk about other people. Don't talk about your friends to other people. Don't talk about your family to other people. Get used to being alone in thought. You don't have to necessarily be, by yourself, but you don't want to let everybody know everything that's going on inside your mind all the time. Get used to holding on to your secrets. So, the number 3, progress in silence. Make progress in silence. You don't want people to understand your journey, right? This goes into whenever you are actually sitting in silence and you're actually asking yourself why, and you're giving yourself new things to do, new agendas, new game plans. And if you were, y'all did that on y'all own because y'all actually used the shit I gave y'all, congratulations. You got it in you naturally, to figure this shit out. I'm just going, set it, I give myself a little bit of credit for that too. I set that shit up nice. You know what I'm saying? But, anyway, you are going to have new agendas, new ideas, new game plans, new knowledge, new perspectives, new ideas that are going to be more effective and efficient than your previous ones. And when you're doing this, a lot of times, you gonna want to tell people about it. And I'm letting you know right now, don't tell nobody shit. If they're not hip to the journey, do not tell them anything. Why? Jealousy, envy, hatred. People do not understand, and I'm telling you, it might be people that you believe, oh no, they want to see me go, they want to see me do better, they want to cheer me on. Listen, bro. A lot of people are going to talk to you, and you're gonna give you things, they're gonna say things. If they don't want the end result that you want, I'm telling you right now, you are wasting your breath, and you are allowing them inside of your mind to fuck up the way that you think. A lot of people believe it's cool to have help, and there's nothing wrong with having help when y'all want the same goal. But a lot of people don't want the same fucking goal as you. So they're not going to be thinking in the same way that you are. They're not going to perceive things the same way you perceive things. They're not necessarily trying to like be negative to you, or they're trying to hurt you. It's just that they don't understand the way that you understand, because they don't seek to understand the depth. They're not going to use that knowledge. Some people, they're only going to attempt to disrupt the way you think. And it might not necessarily be a bad or good thing. Like I told y'all previously, don't take it like it's a bad or good thing. It's just the way they operate. This is the way people operate. When you are in a state, this is a very, high sensitivity state of vulnerability, because you're literally letting someone into your thought process. Okay? When this is going down, man, I'm going to need y'all to really catch this. When this is going down, right? This is not something that you should take lightly. Because you're letting someone into your mind if you don't be silent. So you got to know when to be silent. Okay? And when you're doing this, you allow yourself to evolve at a very fast rate, depending on, who you decide to be silent with. Now, if we end up getting on the call, y'all talk to me or y'all talk to somebody with a lot of game, game gonna always recognize game, and they gonna always, give you the gems necessary, because they understand the process that you have to go down for you to really understand it. And they will be patient with you because they understand the patience that they needed with themselves. Right? But sometimes people, just because they're on the left and the right of you and they're going through the journey with you together, don't mean that they understand the amount of the depth that you're in tune into this process. Like, it's different measurements, because it's different, potentials. Your potential is not based upon, your gifts. It's based upon how bad you want it. You got to keep this in mind. Like, sometimes people don't want things as bad as you want it. So when I'm telling y'all these things and I'm giving y'all these keys, a lot of times y'all got to realize most of the people in this world will never hear this shit. So, number 4, keeping people on a need-to-know basis. I always tell people, in order for you to be an effective leader, people don't actually have to know every single detail all the time. The only time they need to know is if they are a part of the game plan. For example, I can be leading a woman, and she can be with me. Let's say we're going on a date, and I'm like, yo, listen, I want you to go to the store for me and buy, on your way here, I want you to buy, some spray. I want you to buy some gum, and I want you to buy a lighter. She might be like, why you want me to get that? I'm like, we about to go to the woods. We about to go out, and we about to go on, or if you want to be a surprise, you can say we're going out on a date. It's a surprise. This is what I want y'all to do, or I'm just gonna surprise you. Just get this. I got a surprise for you. You know what I'm saying? With that, sometimes sometimes people need to know things. They need to know a little something, but they don't need to know, hey, I got this thing set up out here. I'm gonna, smoke some weed. We're gonna, light up some candles. We're gonna do all of these things, and I like gum. I want to chew on some gum and and blah 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 blah. No. You don't need to be doing all that. Keep people on a need-to-know basis. And trust me, I promise you, people love to operate on it. People love to operate this way because most people, I would like to say most people, like, when I say most, I mean like 80% of the world, don't even like to fucking think for real. Some people, most people, like, I think like 10% of that 20%, they only think to a certain point to know more than most people. which ain't that much. So you kind of realize why 10% of the world is like people who are actually like good at shit. Like, they got people in the world that like 10% of the world is like actually wealthy, or 10% of the world, 10% of guys actually get women, or 10% of guys are actually good at sales. 10% of traders, the guys who trade in the foreign exchange, the stock market, only like 10% are actually like, wealthy from that. Only 10% of the world are fucking winners, right? Because most people actually will rather you keep them on a need-to-know basis. They don't want to have to think about that shit, right? Like most people, and I'm gonna be honest, me personally, there's a lot of things in politics that outside of like maybe business and outside of the morality of society and the morality of the the justice system, it's a lot of things. Even in that, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of shit in that I don't know. Yes, I got a guy who knows a lot, and I trust his judgment, and I trust the way he thinks, and I trust who he is as a person, but I'm not like chasing him for the sake of that knowledge. No, it's like he tells me what he believes that I need to know. You know what I'm saying? Like this is what you gotta realize, like, people actually like that. You know what I'm saying? People don't want to know every single fucking detail every day. They really don't anyway. And the beautiful part of that is you get the opportunity to actually explore what it's like to actually just be a fucking human being. This is the beauty of, understanding the power of silence. Because a lot of people, right, they believe if you're not like me, then we shouldn't talk. No, you just shouldn't talk to people about shit that they don't need to know. You know what I'm saying? Like, people want everybody to be exactly like them so they can talk about the thing that they are fucking obsessed with. And the person that you're talking to don't even give a fuck about that shit. They don't even need to know. And not only that, but if they knew it, because they don't want anything from it, they don't need to know it. You know what I'm saying? So this is what I'm trying to get y'all to realize, is that the winner's mentality understands that when you keep people on a need to know, who really needs to know the process of what in which you're going down to become wealthy, become a great woman's man, a ladies' man, or to become financially successful, to become successful in your career. What do people really need to know? There's not a whole lot people need to know outside of, in your day-to-day. A lot of people don't need to know these things. And what's crazy is that the flip side of that is them knowing these things about you sometimes can actually cause them to not like you, not because of what you're doing, but because of their own insecurities. And this happens sometimes on your and it will happen to you on your day-to-day. This is why I always tell y'all to actually, you have to test people when they're in your space. Now, sometimes you can choose to not give a fuck. You can choose to just lay it on people and give them the game because it's like, I don't really give a fuck if you like it or not. You can move that way sometimes. You can say, you can give people the big fuck you. You can do that. You can give people the big fuck you. You can. But when you're talking about people that you have to deal with on a daily basis, I'm telling you, to a certain extent, there's some things that you just don't need to tell them. A lot of guys, they be like, you're not being real. You're not being real. Being real and caring about somebody is two very different things. You can be an asshole for absolutely no reason. For example, I got a homeless guy that I'm talking to a homeless guy, right? And I'm just talking to him. I'm like, yo, motherfucker, you need to get your life together. You need to get some money. Let me tell you about this business. Let me tell you about this business. Let me tell you what you're thinking wrong. You don't even understand how to save money. You don't understand how to invest the money. You don't even understand how to create something of value. You're fucking worthless. You need to build up your worth. You're saying all of these things, and you might believe you say to yourself, hey, man, I'm being so real to this man. And instead of asking him, hey, yo, man, Do you want to be? Do you want to have money? Do you want to have a stable lifestyle? And he's like, man, fuck that. I don't want to have a stable lifestyle. Fuck, I like drinking beer and just sitting on my ass all day. You see how much time you fucking wasted trying to convince somebody who didn't want that shit to begin with, and you might be arguing with this person and trying to like teach them and, you know, preach to this guy, and this guy doesn't give a fuck about anything that you're talking about. In one ear, out the other ear. It's a waste of breath, a waste of time. You could have started a fucking cop. You could have made a video, made a podcast, and said something to somebody else, and it would actually, they probably would have wanted to pay you because of the knowledge that you gave them. And this is what I mean. Keeping people on a need to know is honestly protecting your value. It's protecting your value. And another thing that I want y'all to, you know, take in, which is, I was talking about earlier, is that some people will literally not like you because of their own insecurities. For example, there's this chick I was, you know, fucking with, and I was like, yo, you know, everybody that she meets, everybody she talks to, you know, she was, when I first met her, you know, I wasn't really, you know, I was just fucking her, you know, she's cooking for me, she was doing a lot of shit for me, so I'm like, you know, I'm not going to overextend. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to overextend. So, instead, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to let her fuck herself up, and I'm going to, you know, just listen to her, hear her out. And she kept telling me the same story over and over again, you know, oh, I tell these guys, you know, they're getting mad at me, and they're talking, they think that I'm all that, they think that I'm a show off, and I'm like, okay, cool. That sucks. And okay, well, what time are you coming over? You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm not really paying any mind, you know, but I'm hearing her and I'm listening to her, but I'm like, what are they hating on you for? Right? What are they doing all this shit for? I'm like, cause you know, and I had to like basically just let time play out. Right? And so one day she was like, you know, I got a new job and I went to my coworkers and I'm telling the coworkers, you know, how I got this going on in my business and I got that going on and I got this going on. I'm like, you know, they were so excited to hear that and they wanted to see if, you know, if I could help them. You know, they were doing all this and that. And I'm like, yo, this is where you're fucking up. This is exactly why you always get threatened from people who, you always get threatened by people, and then people always get, you know, envious of you, and you're wondering why they always end up attacking you. It's because you don't know what's going on in their minds. Like, you don't know, and this, not in the moment after I said it, you know, she basically clarified, but I was like, you don't even know that if she is fucking manipulative. You don't know if she's insecure. You don't know if, you know, she sees you and she feel like you think that you're better than her. You know, let's say you do stand up for yourself. She's not going to think, oh, I'm out of line. She going to think, oh, because she got this business, she's standing up for herself. You know, because I always give women that I talk to real game, especially when they show that they worth it. I give them the game. And you know, I'm telling her all that. I'm like, you don't know what's going on in that woman's mind. You really just don't fucking know. You don't know how her ego plays onto her mind and probably fucks up her own peace. And of course, you know what I'm saying, it's going to fuck up, you know, she's going to naturally start thinking in a way that's going to cause her to think ways where she's going to try to fuck up your peace. You know what I'm saying? She might say things, you know, she might fuck with your schedule because, oh, she don't need this job, you know, or she might try to do this because she might try to, like, you know, tamper with you or try you just because she like, oh, she thinks she this, let's see if she really that. You know, it's like you're feeding, you know, into the worst parts of who she is, not intentionally. It's just because sometimes you don't really know who these people really are. That's why I always say you really got to test people to find out who they are. You can't just like assume that you know who they are, because that's when shit starts going bad. So we're going to number 5. Prioritize your dream. One of the biggest things that you have to realize is your thought process is the most important thing when it comes down to fulfilling anything that you want. And living a fulfilled life in what you want. You have to have a certain thought process, right? And you have to focus on that thought process. And prioritizing your dream is not just thinking about your dream and putting towards, thought towards your dream and not just action towards your dream. It's everything towards your dream. Which means whenever you're not thinking and you're not doing something aligned with your dream, you are basically saying to yourself, it's okay for me to go any direction outside of my dream. And that is not the case, is it? It's not the case at all. But you can think this way. And this is what I'm trying to get y'all to understand. You can think, and you can end up thinking in a way where you derail yourself from actually moving towards a better version of what you want in yourself. So prioritizing your goals a lot of times is really understanding where you are at in the process and moving towards, which means doing actions, learning new things, and doing action to get yourself closer to fulfilling that process in which you have aligned yourself with. You have to prioritize that. And a lot of things, when you're on this journey, you're going to become a better version of yourself. In doing that, a lot of other things are going to start to become attracted to you. Right? For example, whenever let's say you're a new guy, and I start teaching this new guy how to really get women and how to get him to realize, bro, it's not really that you can't get women. It's not that you're not good looking. It's not that you ugly or you short, whatever. It's really just that you think like somebody who gets used by women. You literally think like somebody who gets used by women. And he's like, yo, I definitely do get used by women. But so it's just like, so I'm breaking him down the game. I give him the game, and he starts getting more. He starts believing in himself more. He starts talking with more confidence. He starts having a better mouthpiece. Because he starts unlocking who he really is. He starts unlocking all these things within himself. So because he unlocked all these things within himself, he started getting more women. But the women he was getting weren't the women that he necessarily wanted when he started off. He was getting women that he thought was kind of cute, or not necessarily fine as fuck, but he was getting women who were like kind of mid. And he was like, yo, I'm not gonna lie, they're doing everything for me. And I'm be honest, I'm not even used to getting women at this rate, even though they're kind of good looking there, but they're not the kind of woman that I want. But I'm not used to getting this many women, and this many women that actually, and every once in a while he might get a pretty one, but for the most part, he was getting all right women. His goal when he started out was he wanted only the pretty women, sexy women, and fine ass women. All the rest of them, he was like, I don't really want that. I want a lot of pretty women. I want a lot of fine ass women. I want a lot of, the women that he likes, that he really, really likes. He wanted and we wanted women, genuine women who can cook and all of that. He wanted all of that. So what I had to proclaim to him and had to tell him, listen, you have to stay aligned with what you want. You cannot ever get to the point where you start moving towards the path of least resistance. You have to continuously go down the path of the heart of the most resistance, because you will continuously become a better version of who you are. You're not chasing the women. You're chasing a better version of who you are. And this is what it means to continuously grow as a man. When you're prioritizing your dreams, a lot of times it's easy to get distracted by things. It's easy to get distracted by ideas that can basically blur your vision and help you not get you to realize how much more shit that you have, how much more work you have to do. Because it's so easy to say to yourself, hey, yo, like, whatever, like, I got this, I'm cool, like, comfortable, you know what I'm saying, like, it's cool, like, I got this woman, she got a fat ass, she cute, but she got a nice ass, and she sucks my dick real nice, you know what I'm saying. I got this woman over here, she's pretty as fuck, but her body is like mid, you know what I'm saying. You know, it's easy to do. I'm telling y'all, it is very easy to say that when you are in the process of figuring out that it's really your mentality that you're working on, especially when you're getting benefits out of the process of becoming who you want to be. You know what I'm saying? It's very easy to do that. So you have to continuously stay focused. Like, you have to stay focused on prioritizing the dream. The next thing, which is number 6, I'm going to give y'all, which is the power of saying no. Listen, man, a lot of times, man, you're going to have to tell a lot of these women no, man. They ain't going to want to hear, you know, that you got to go work. You know, they ain't going to want to hear that you got to go study. They ain't going to want to hear that you don't want to talk to them today. You know what I'm saying? The best thing for you to do is just to tell them no. A lot of times, you're going to have things in your life outside of women that you have to say no to. You have to say no to distractions. You know, TikTok, Instagram, movies, your friends, the women, you got to tell them all no. You have to say no because it's building up your conviction to do what you set out to do. It's a mindset. It's a mindset. This is what I've been trying to get people to understand. It's a mindset that we are after. We're not after money. We're not after women. We're not after goals. We're after transformation. In order for you to get transformation, it's a version of you that really, really wants to do a lot of this shit. And you have to tell yourself, no. You have to, because it's about the transformation, man. It's about staying consistent on that abided path. Bro, stand on that path, and sometimes you're going to want to get off of it. Like, because it's like someday you're like, fuck, I don't even want to do this today. Man, this woman's fine as shit, but I don't want to risk it. I don't want to go over there to go talk to her. But she fine, and I know there's going to be a day when, you know, when I'm just going to talk to this woman and I'm going to want to nail her ass to the cross. I'm going to want to nail her ass to the cross. Man, let me go say something to this woman. But they going to have days where you know you want to fuck that woman. You know that woman is your type, and you're not going to want to go over there. Letting y'all know, man. Sometimes you got to tell yourself, no, I'm about to go over here and say something to this woman. Get at this woman. And you know what? I'm not about to just get at her. I'm about to get at her hard. She gonna know I want to fuck. She's gonna know I want to see her tonight. She gonna know I want to see her as soon as possible. She gonna know I'm trying to get in the motherfucking draw. She not gonna have to guess. She gonna know. And you have to tell yourself, I'm going for it. You have to tell yourself these things. Because if you don't, basically disgracing yourself. No one else knows this. This is what I'm saying. This is really what's going on inside of your mind. This is what's going on. And this is why I say this is the process of really accepting that it's a journey, a transformation. To transform your thoughts, to transform your mindset. I know I said this already 1,000 times. Probably won't say it 1,000 more times so y'all can really get it. You're literally constantly changing your thoughts, your beliefs, and the way you see the world. You're constantly doing it. Sometimes it's going to be a thought you have to say no to. You have to say no to a thought. You have to reject your own thoughts. Some things you're going to see, and you're going to have to reject the way that you're seeing it. You're going to have to reject a perspective. Oh my God, this woman, she looks like a woman who only fucks with guys that will pay her money. Reject that perception. Reject that perception. That perception is not reality. Man, this woman, she drive a Mercedes Benz, she wearing heels, she got a nice dress. Man, I gotta have money to fuck with this woman. Reject that perception of reality. Because why would a man think that? Why would a man think that? Because he thinks a woman looks like this wants money. Why? I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that man would say something like, I heard guys say, oh yeah, a guy believes that he's supposed to do all of these things for the sake of a woman. He thinks he's supposed to earn money for the sake of a woman. So he don't even think he should go up to that woman because of that perception. Reject that perception. And this is what I mean when I say you have to constantly ask yourself why, behind whys, behind whys, behind whys, behind whys, to get to the core of who you are, and still reject your perception to the core of who you are, and reinvent a new belief to move towards. What does it mean to move towards a belief? To form an idea in your mind that you continuously follow. And even when you continuously follow that idea, you still have to ask yourself why, behind the why, behind the why, behind the why, behind the why. And this is why I say you kind of don't really have time to be on your motherfucking phone. You can be on your phone, you can listen to music, you can watch movies, but you still got to do this. It's like you still have to do this. You cannot not do this. And actually change to the point where it's like you don't change up who you are for the sake of, pleasing others. Like, it has to really be to the core of who you are, to the point where it's like, fuck all y'all. I believe what I believe. And there's no way for you to move this way and get to the mindset where you continuously attracting these women, continuously attracting, the woman that you want, the lifestyle that you want, the finances that you want, the success that you want. You can't develop that without forming a way of thinking that literally attracts that lifestyle to you, that those things to you. You have to have a way of thinking that is aligned with that, and all they're aligned with that, so you can move, think, and see the world in a way that causes you to move towards that thing continuously. Whatever it is, success and finance, success with women, whatever it might be, for you to continuously move that, you have to think and believe in a way where it's like, I'm going to get these results. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to get these. Like, it's impossible for me not to get these, because look at the way I think. Look at the way I move. I move in a way that women love. You know what I'm saying? I'm moving in a way that if a woman loves a man, she gonna love me. I'm moving in a way where if she's a freak, I'm gonna find out if she's a freak. I'm moving in a way where if she's sensual, I'm gonna find out that she's sensual. You know what I'm saying? I'm moving in a way where the likelihood of me getting what I want, I'm going to get what I want, because I know what to do to find out if it's here or not. And if it's here, I'm gonna get it. If it's not here, I don't even want it. Which means that you're saying no to it. Like literally, bro. Sometimes you're gonna have women that come up to you, bro. They're gonna have women. I'm telling y'all, they're gonna have women that are going to talk to y'all, and they're gonna know what kind of man you are. And once they see what kind of man you are, they're gonna want to fuck you, and they're gonna literally say, "I want to fuck you. I want some dick." And some women you have to literally say no to. I'm telling you, they're gonna be some nice looking women. Me personally, I don't just want your pussy. I want your mind. I want your mind. So In order for me to get your mind, I want to talk to you. I gotta get to know you. I let you get to know me. Just a little bit. I gotta, slow your roll. Some women you gonna have to say no to. Oh no, you gotta pay. You gotta pay to be with me. No, because she fine as fuck. She like, oh yeah, no, you gotta pay. You gotta send me. You gotta bring me on a good date. I don't go on no long walks with niggas. I don't go on no long walks with motherfuckers. You either gonna go on a long walk with me or you not gonna go with me at all. You have to have that power and the conviction to be able to stand on your ideas, and you have to say no to anything else outside of those ideas. This is why it's so key for y'all to understand the why behind the why behind the why behind the why, because you have to defend your ideas, sometimes from yourself. You feel what I'm saying? Like, for example, you might have a time where you're like, I want to learn how to, I'm skateboarding and I want to learn how to do a kickflip. You might have some deals to yourself. You're like, man, today I just want to roll around. I ain't trying to learn how to do no kickflip today. I just want to roll around. That's the day. You still have to tell yourself, no, I want to learn how to do a kickflip. You still got to tell yourself that. Because it's not necessarily about the kickflip. It's about the mindset that you need to have to do the kickflip. If you had the mindset to do the kickflip and you done the kickflip on a snowboard, you did a kickflip in some habitat, you had a chance to practice that kickflip, doing a kickflip wouldn't be a big deal to you. It's just that you don't have the habits that you need to do the fucking kickflip. So you have to really instill that within yourself. Like, this is what I'm saying. It's important for you to be able to say no to yourself. Once y'all start getting this, y'all gonna start to understand the difference between a man that basically understands who he is versus most of these men out here that don't understand who they are. They don't. I'm telling y'all, bro, it's gonna become so evident, especially if you went over the self-fulfilling prophecy. It's gonna become so evident that people don't know who the fuck they are and what they're actually doing with themselves. It's gonna be fucking astounding to you. It's gonna blow your mind. They're gonna say a bunch of shit and not stand on shit. Not stand on none of it. They ain't gonna believe in none of the shit. Some people will literally fight you for an idea that they don't believe in. That's why I say most of the world are fucking losers. You're fucking losers. Most of the world losers. Most of the world are fucking losers. I'm going to always say do what you want to do, but know why you're doing it. Don't give me no bullshit reason that has to do with the perception or your past. It should have everything to do with what you think, believe, and see the world. That's all I got for y'all, man. Enjoy this video, man. It's part, 4 of the winners mentality. It's a lot of game in this, man. See y'all, man. Peace.